Hi everyone, this is Miss Leah from the Ida Public Library, and I am here to share with you some simple kitchen science experiments that you can do at home. Today we're going to be trying to create a density column with using just some simple ingredients that you probably already have in your kitchen. A density column is what happens when you pour liquids with different densities into a container or a glass of some kind, and they lay on top of each other. And the reason this happens is, well, first let's talk about what density is. Density is how tightly packed something is together. For example, a rock is very dense. If you drop a rock into the water, it sinks. That's because the rock is more tightly packed together than the water. So the rock is more dense than the water is. Certain different kinds of liquids also have different densities. So for example, honey is a lot more tightly packed together than water is. So if we do this correctly, these liquids will all rest on top of each other in a hopefully very pretty looking combination. So first, we're going to start with your ingredients. We're going to use honey, dish soap, water, vegetable oil, and rubbing alcohol. There are some other different kinds of liquids you can use as well, depending on what you have in your home. I'll have a link down in the caption of this video that you can use to see the experiment instructions that I'm using here. That'll give you other liquids that you can try using. So what we're going to do first is we're going to take our honey and we're going to put some into our glass. And you can see just how dense that is. It's really clinging to the spoon. Water doesn't do that because it's not very dense. You want to make sure you try not to get it on the side of the glass like I just did there. You want to try to pour it right in the middle. Messy. Give it one more scoop. All right, so that takes care of our first level of our density column. Now that we have our honey, our next liquid is going to be our dish soap. Now to make it look a little bit cooler, I'm gonna put some food coloring into it. If your dish soap is already colored, you may not have to do this part, or if you can if you want. We're going to pour a little bit into our glass here. And we're going to put a little bit of color in it. Go ahead and mix that up. We got a lovely green dish soap here. Now this part is a little bit tricky. If you pour the liquid in too quickly, the momentum is going to push it through the honey and then it won't lay on top. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use a turkey baster. Take some of that liquid. And very gently pour it right on top. You want to make sure you're doing it right in the middle too. Alright, and there you have it. You can kind of see now we've got about 2 different layers. Alright, so now that our dish soap is taken care of, we're going to move on to our next liquid. We're going to move on to our water here. Now for the water, I'm going to put a little bit of food coloring in this one too, just so that we can see the difference more clearly. Get another spoon. And Once again, I'm going to take my turkey baster. Just suck up a little bit of that. Oh. Very gently. Layer it on top of my dish soap. Now, the thing about the less density we have, the faster it's going to come out of the turkey baster. So what you'll see I'm doing here is I am putting my finger over it so that it doesn't slide out all at once. Just letting a little bit out at a time. A little bit of the dish soap got into the water, so you may want to wash this in between. There we have it. We have another layer. And you can see that it is layering up pretty nicely there. We got a little bit more water in there than we had anything else. All right, now that our water is taken care of, we're going to move on to our next liquid, which is going to be our vegetable oil. Just going to pour a little bit into the glass here. And again, you could put some food coloring in here if you want. I think this is a different color enough that I'm going to just leave it as is. All right, and look at that. We've got another layer on our density column. And this one's a little bit soapy, but you can definitely see it is sitting on top of the water because dish soap is a little more, or vegetable oil, it's a little less dense than water. All right, so now we're gonna move on to our last liquid. We're gonna do a little bit of rubbing alcohol. And with this one again, I'm going to put a little bit of food coloring. It mixed a little bit, but you can still see the layers pretty well. And there you have it. That is a very simple density column. Now this in and of itself is not an experiment. This is a demonstration. So thinking about how you could turn it into an experiment is one of the things you can do at home. How would we turn this into an experiment? Well, first we would start by asking a question. What kind of questions do you think you would have about this? Maybe you could try making a density column with other liquids. You could go around, see what you have in your house, and make some predictions. Which ones do you think will be heavier than other ones? And then you can go ahead and test those ideas out. And that is what makes it a science experiment. I hope you found this an interesting demonstration. I hope you enjoyed. If you are able to make your own density column, we would love to see it. Go ahead and share it with us on our Facebook page. And always make sure that when you are done with your experiment, you make sure you clean everything up and leave everything nice and pretty for the next time you do an experiment. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you guys are having a great day today.